Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome, everyone, to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. Today we're talking Week 14. It's an odd thing to say Week 14 regular season fantasy football, but hey, with the extra week, there we are. Final week here, trying to get some playoffs for your teams. So not as many questions today because I'm, a lot of people might be out of it. Who knows where we're at? Or at this point, you're not necessarily out of it. You just know you got your guys, and this is you got to roll with what you have at this point. I get it. Some of us, like myself, are going for playoffs, and all three of our leagues were together in Jeff, our main leagues. I have good shot at the playoffs in all of them. I'm a favorite to make the playoffs, but I haven't clinched any three of those. So it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating right now. I just need a good weekend, make the playoffs. Jeff, you need a good weekend to not have a punishment. So,
well, yeah, that one. Yeah, we'll see. That the bottom is very convoluted in our main league, which is weird. I think there's 4 teams that are all hovering around there.
There's a couple scenarios. You lose, you might not have it, but if you lose and somebody else wins as well, then you might have it. But if you lose, that other person wins, but another person loses, you might not. It's
You know what? I will say this: it never is fun to be near the bottom, but at least if you're in the bottom with, it's not like we're terrible teams. I mean, you get 5 and 7 or whatever it is. Yeah. It is fun to actually have something to play for. So, and it does, attempts to keep people from trying to not care about anything. What is your outlook? Because we've done it multiple different ways. We've had a million different leagues together. Mm-hmm. The punishment is always, I know that you're always hot and cold on it because you're kind of like, why? But the whole idea is to make sure people keep updating lineups, doing all this stuff. Is there a positive, negative? What do you like?
I'm okay with punishment. I think it could be a fun thing. As long as I don't like when leagues go too nuts and make the punishments like really like, I don't know. I don't want people to get tattooed because of it and stuff like that. I've seen that. Like, as long as it's funny. Like we had somebody record a Christmas album a couple of years ago. They had to record a full Christmas album, and it just lives on. It's amazing.
Yeah, it sounds corny, but that was the best one.
Yeah, stuff like that is awesome. So I'm cool with like just funny things like that. I don't go too nuts with your punishments. Don't make people tattoo fantasy football loser on their body or something. Like, that's a little much for fantasy football. That's where I like shoot. I don't even know if I want to play, if I want to possibly lose. But hopefully I make the playoffs. We'll see. Hopefully I don't have any epic meltdowns live doing this show like I did last year when Zeke screwed me. We're about the 1-year anniversary of that. So
that was like my favorite. That was the holiday for me.
That is, we are right there. We're 1 year away from that. Let me look at the schedule here before we get into these couple of mailbag questions. I just want to see in my leagues, what do I got? Do I have some Sunday night football matchups at all? Oh, none of my players go Sunday night. Jeez, man, I'm going to be done by after the 4:00 window. That's always kind of nerve wracking. No, not in that league. Shoot, me and my opponent, we're done at the 4:00 window. We'll know early. But let's see. Let me see if I have anything else here. We got to have something going, right? No, shoot. Oh, there we go. I have Devontae Adams going on Sunday night in one of the other leagues that I need to win. Same thing. Let's see. And then the other one I have Darnell Mooney. So there is some opportunity for me to be, screwed here. We'll see what happens. Or we might be finding out Jeff has a punishment to do. It'll be good times.
Yeah, that'd be a rough blow out of nowhere. But what is it? I think it's only the beer mile this time around. Yeah, it's very doable. You'll watch me puke probably, but that's all right.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be fun. But, all right, a couple questions here quick. Not much, but here we go. Let's start us off with Sports Fan 2. He says, feels like I have the best team, but I'm only 7-6 and must win. Man, I know the feeling. I'm 7-6 must win. Okay, maybe I don't have the best team, but I know the feeling. He said, I had a good draft and trades, but I'm not consistent. He says, this is 10 team league, PPR. He says, I don't know if I should drop anyone for this week. I don't have his exact roster settings, but here are his players. His quarterbacks are Jalen Hurts, Russell Wilson. He has Jonathan Taylor on bye. That sucks. for this week: Zeke, Saquon, Darrell Henderson, AJ Dillon, Devontae Adams, Terry McLaurin, T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks, Kyle Pitts. Just looking at those players, I don't think there's anything on the waiver wire that's going to help you this week. That seems to me like it would be. I don't think I can find
a really solid team.
Yeah, I can't find a scenario where you're finding a waiver wire guy that's at all. No, it's not there. There's not a waiver wire guy for you. You roll with your guys. No Taylor, that sucks. Quarterback, you're probably going Russ because Hurts is. I just don't see. I guess the only thing is there's the one option. What if Taysom's out there? Would you go Taysom over Russell Wilson? It's so risky.
Who's his other quarterback?
Jalen Hurts. We don't know what his status is going to be. I think Taysom over Russell Wilson. If Taysom was a waiver wire, that's the only possible one. Taysom over Russell Wilson.
I think I probably would do that. I have to look at matchups really quickly, but I know that Russ is
playing at Houston.
Oh,
Taysom's playing though at the Jets. They're both great matchups.
I honestly would probably lean. I can't believe I do it, but I'd probably lean Taysom. I probably would. I
think I am too. And I can say like straight up, this is the scenario I have in one of the leagues I need to win. I have Taysom. I have Russ. I also have Joe Burrow. I have 3 now. But
Burrow has a tough matchup though, right?
He's playing at versus San Francisco. I think I'm going to lean Taysom. I might.
I think that's what I would do too. And Russ, he had a good matchup last week and he did fine, but Taysom didn't really do all that well. And he still pulled, how many picks did he throw? He still pulled out a good fantasy production. If he hits on all cylinders, he could be the week winner. So I would take the risk and grit and bear it, but
yeah, definitely. All right. Brady Spaghetti. He says, are you taking Jermichael Hasty or Deontay Foreman in half-point PPR this week? He says, I have to start one of them, and I need the bigger upside. So here's the deal. If Elijah Mitchell, if Jeff Wilson aren't playing, there's the injuries. Hasty is the higher upside. I think you go Hasty. There's no healthy players on that team right now except for Hasty, which is just crazy. Why do the San Francisco running backs continue to get hurt? But they do. If Hasty's going to be the starter, I think you play Hasty. Even if one of the 49ers backs are there, I think you play Foreman. So I think that's what it is. It's Foreman easily. If like Elijah Mitchell's playing, you're going Foreman all day, obviously. But if Mitchell doesn't clear concussion protocol, Hasty could be a play.
Yeah. Is there anyone else on that roster that is going to compete for touches with Hasty?
No, not if Jeff Wilson's hurt too. We don't know his status either. There really isn't. No, they're just not. He's literally the only healthy back, I believe, right now.
Yeah. So I would like that better because he would have, you're absolutely correct when he talks about upside, that is the clear one where you're kind of like, okay, if those two guys are out, he definitely has a bigger upside than Deontay Foreman.
For sure. All right. Brother Coffee Bean. He says, will Swift come back? Probably not this week. Hopefully in a couple weeks, but there's no guarantee because I've seen this with the Lions. You could see it happening. They're not any good. They could shut somebody down. What's the benefit really? If it's lingering, there's really no benefit to bring him back and hurt him more.
At this point in the year, I would bench him. I would definitely.
I wouldn't plan on him coming back.
I wouldn't rush him back. Probably won't be worthwhile for, our ends for the fantasy playoffs. I don't see that. You even might limit his touches. I would be very skeptical of that situation.
Yep. All right. Next says, with Julio coming back, who should be my flex? So pick one of these guys. Or actually, let's rank them. I don't know who his starters are. So let's rank these guys. Kadarius Toney, Julio Jones, Chase Claypool, Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Gallup. That's a lot of the same player to me.
I was like, wow, you didn't make it easy on us, did you?
I'll just give the first couple. Oh shoot, this is like
I don't even have them in my head where I'm like these two for sure.
Julio, I'll be honest, Julio's not going to be in my radar to play, even if he's
not until he shows something.
No, I agree. Out of those, so it's like okay,
and same thing with Kadarius Toney, probably.
Yeah, same thing.
So when you have that many players, why play the injured guy?
Yeah, so it's probably Hunter Renfrow, Chase Claypool, Michael Gallup to me. Then Jerry Jeudy.
I'm surprised at you saying that about Jerry Jeudy.
He's just it's just not happening yet. There's just not much going on. I'm just not seeing it.
I 100% agree with you. I know that he has talent. I just wasn't sure if you would go for his upside.
No, not. I don't want to go for that. Right? I don't want upside.
He does have a good matchup this week though. Jeudy, I remember because I like where Bridgewater was ranked.
Yeah, they're playing against the Lions. So yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah. So
I like how I've completely cut the lines on
Judy Gallup is kind of the toss up, but it's to me, I'd actually go Hunter Renfrow over Chase Claypool in my mind. Renfrow has just been solid. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Says, what should I do with Logan Thomas? Cut him. He's hurt. It's not an ACL. It does sound like now it's not an ACL, but it's still in knee injury.
Yeah. He's not going to be coming back anytime soon.
Should I be confident enough to start Ertz? I mean, confident. It's a tight end, and he showed a couple weeks ago he can score some touchdowns, right? So I'm not confident in almost any tight end, but Ertz is fine if that's your option.
You'd have to compare him against another tight end before you you said.
And then finally he says, with the Daniel Jones injury, my only starters are Taysom Hill. Good job, man. You got Taysom Hill.
Boom.
Love it, man.
You're good, man.
We've been telling you to get Taysom. So he says
it took a little bit longer than we thought.
Yes, you got him, man. You got him. But he says, I have Taysom and Bridgewater. Should I move on from Bridgewater and pick up Dalton? Nah. Bridgewater, no.
Yeah.
I'd rather have Bridgewater.
Bridgewater is a good backup to Taysom right now for the rest of the year, I should say, for the rest of the fantasy year.
Yep. So I mean, you keep making moves. You got Taysom. There we go, man. Way to go. All right. Final one from Fantasy Football Experience. He says, who are your top 5 running backs next year? So figure one, this show. Let's look at some 20. Let's rank some 20. We're going to do this on the spot. Maybe we rank 10 even. Maybe we go 10 deep here. I'm going to post this on the website. Well, I'm going to edit the website as I'm doing this. All right. I don't think we have to debate number 1. It's Jonathan Taylor next year. I think Jonathan Taylor's number 1. I would
agree with you.
I don't think it's a debate.
I think you would debate Derrick Henry, right? That is a debate. I'm not going to say that it's clear cut like that because some people will not be scared off by the injury. I mean,
it will be slightly.
Yeah, a little bit, but the guy is still Jonathan Taylor's put on a show. Don't get me wrong, but Derrick Henry is still 4th after missing, the handful of games since the injury. So, he was, above Jonathan Taylor until the injury. So if you do want to say I would still pick him over it, sure. But that injury scares me off enough where I say I'm going to go for the young buck that's already proven himself. I'm going with Jonathan Taylor as well.
Yep. I'll go. Then number 2 is probably Derrick Henry then, right?
Yeah, I would risk the injury at that point and say, as long as the prognosis is good.
Yep.
Why not?
Yep. I'm with you. All right. So 1, 2, I think it's not too great. I think we got a pretty good idea of what we're looking at there. Number 3 though, is where it starts to get interesting. And I mean, I could throw some options. What do you got? You got McCaffrey, right? You could talk about McCaffrey. You could talk about Kamara. You could talk about Cook. You can go any direction with this one. I'm not even joking with it too. If you wanted to throw someone like an Eckler or a Mixon up there right now, you absolutely could. And you could just jump over the usual names, which would be McCaffrey, Cook, Zeke, or who am I missing here? Like Chubb. Yeah.
So that is an interesting one.
Yeah, number 3.
Me,
all right. I think.
Oh, and Kamara. That's the one I was trying to think of.
I think I probably still gonna go McCaffrey. In my mind, at least. The talent's there. If he can stay healthy next year, he's gonna be a steal.
I would. This one's a little tougher, but I would agree because they're being so cautious with him.
Yeah.
He got hurt 2 years ago. This year he came back, he played, he looked really good when he did. As soon as he's injured again, they're like, we're shutting him down. It's not worth it. So,
I don't think they haven't been like serious injuries either. So shouldn't have long-term effects, but I'm going to go McCaffrey 3.
I would agree with you.
Number 4 though. I don't know.
This is where kind of like what my whole thing came up. I right now, I truly am wondering, is this finally the moment where Joe Mixon can be up here and you can?
I'm with you. I'm actually, I was thinking Joe Mixon. I feel more confident in Joe Mixon than I do like Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook. Joe Mixon, I mean, I'm going to say this, he's going to get hurt next week, but he doesn't seem to get as hurt. Cook's there all the time, but
I feel like Mixon a lot of abuse over the years too, and he keeps on trucking. And finally, that team is in a place where you can't just focus in on the run, and it's showing. I mean, he's ranked the number 3rd overall back right now. He's and besides for Jonathan Taylor, who's running away with it.
Yep.
Eckler is the only other person that's ahead of him, and that role, which I absolutely love. It's just not as guaranteed as far as goal line touches and whatnot.
I think Joe Mixon's the guy there. So
I did too. Unbelievable. I did not think that even 5 weeks ago, to be quite honest.
no, he feels like he's going to be a safe option at this point. I feel really good about it. All right. So we got 1 through 4, but what about number 5 here?
This is where I think I go back to, I think this is where I probably go back to, I'm probably leaning towards Delvin Cook.
I'm good with that. Yeah. Again, this is where I think you can get some value in maybe now. If you get Dalvin Cook at 5, that feels pretty good next year. I'm on board with Dalvin Cook there.
And this is the one that gets really interesting for me because I think there's a handful of guys that you can make an argument for after Cook for me. Who would you have go? Is this number 5 or 4?
Cook was 5. So okay, 6. 5.
At 6, who are you leaning towards right here? Because I think we could go many different directions. We haven't talked about Najee Harris yet.
Yeah, he'll probably make the top 10.
Yeah,
he's close here.
I think he should.
Man, I still feel like I want to go Kamara.
I don't hate that at all. I think that you get your quarterback situation under control a little more. He's been hurt this year. I already thought this was going to be a strange year for him.
Yeah,
he was still very good early on. So I would agree with you. I think this is where I would go Kamara as well.
Yep, I like Kamara there. So then you got you got Nick Chubb, you got Austin Eckler, you got Najee, Saquon.
This is the one guy that I don't know
Aaron Jones.
And I'll be quite honest, is going to be Eckler.
I think Eckler should come in here, but
he deserves to be in top 10 for sure. And right now, I feel like it should either be him or Chubb.
I feel like we always underrank him.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean,
you know
his
what?
Injury really hurt him.
I think you go Eckler at 7, Chubb at 8.
I like that.
Eckler 7, Chubb 8, probably Najee at 9.
Najee 9.
Yeah, I think then do you go Saquon to round out your top 10? Do you feel any do you feel even like a top 10 with him? Other options would be
out of our top 10.
Yeah, I'm not putting Zeke in the top 10.
Yeah, no, I laughed. It was just I'm looking at it.
Other ones are Aaron Jones, but AJ Dillon. I can see AJ Dillon have a much bigger role next year. I'm not going to be putting AJ or Aaron Jones. No Aaron Jones, no Zeke. I'm trying to think of some other names here. Who am I missing?
Honestly,
Antonio Gibson, probably not. He's just beyond that.
Would Swift?
Swift is another option, but I don't
know if he would sneak in there yet, but he's sneaky right now because he's 13th.
You could go Swift
as of right now on a better team, hopefully. And Henderson, unbelievably not as far off as we thought. I probably won't put him in the top 10.
Well, we got Akers back next year.
Who else am I? Oh, that's true. I'm not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna take Henderson as like that value pick. Yeah. Because I've never seen anyone come off an Achilles injury and be worth anything. And I have a feeling everyone is going to want to love on Akers. I think Henderson, even if he only drops 5-7 spots, I think he'll be a good pick.
Well, so I think for me,
it's else that we're missing.
Not really. I don't think there's not really anybody here because then you got the James Robinson, the David Montgomerys, the Josh Jacobs, Antonio Gibson. Javonte Williams is going to be an interesting guy. I'm not going to put him there yet.
Yeah, you can't put him in the top 10, but I really do appreciate
J.K. Dobbins.
I know I can't put him up there yet.
So to me, it's Swift or Saquon. Swift or Saquon to me.
I think because of I gotta go Saquon. I love Swift. Saquon is too good. It was another one that I didn't feel this year, and it wasn't because of the talent level. So I have to believe that the Giants will get their act together a little more. They do have a lot of pieces in place, and he's they're sitting him a lot, which was what I was worried about. I think Saquon at number 10, which once again, there's depending on where they go, someone is going to be a value just because you have no idea, right? You take a little security over the talent, and we could take someone like Mixon, and he could either get hurt or whatever, and then Saquon could have a year like his rookie, and then you're kind of like, why didn't we pick him in the top 3? Yeah, but that's the danger of it. Who are your dark horses to come out of nowhere and be in the top 10 next year that maybe we haven't talked about?
See, I don't know if it's out of nowhere, but
you could actually
I like Javonte Williams a lot. I really do. I don't know. I think everyone's going to like him a lot if he finishes out. If Melvin Gordon's not there, everyone's going to love Javonte Williams. So that's not going to be even a surprise whatsoever. It's going to be these second year guys, like a Michael Carter. Even he was starting to look good.
Michael Carter, I agree with you. There's 2 guys in particular that I want to throw out their names and let me know what you're thinking. First one is going to be Antonio Gibson.
See, I think Antonio Gibson I don't think he's a special player. I think he's a very good player who's hopefully going to keep getting a lot of volume. And
he's going to be top 15?
Top 15. He's going to be like, yeah, that's where I can picture
kind of what I'm thinking too.
I just don't.
I could see him being like 13th or something because of that volume. But until I see it, put all of it together. But he is definitely showing something at the end of the year, playing through injury and doing very well. The other guy I do want to mention, I just want to get your thoughts on it because I think it's such a miraculous story. And I'm wondering if this changes the way you think about him at all. But James Conner has been unbelievable. I mean, he really has.
Yes.
I know that and he's doing it. Kyler Murray went down. I get it. There's a lot of things you can put against him. He will not be in the top 10. He won't be looked at in the top 15. Is he going to be a steal next year as well? Is he going to get the same kind of playing time? And if not, why not?
Say.
Because
it's hard to say.
Tell you why he
would. It's hard to say. It really is. I don't know. It feels like they found something there, right? That's working, and they're 10-2. They're playing well.
Well, yeah, I think well is an understatement. 10-2, and you didn't have Kyler Murray for 3 games?
Yeah, so it's going to be one of these players where I think he's going to be a value if he's there. If he's the guy yet again, a good chance. James Conner is going to be a really good value because he's going to get ranked in the 20s, in the low 20s. There's so many other players that people are going to fall in love with. These other guys are going to get up there. Like I said, Javonte Williams is going to go up there. Michael Carter's going to go up there.
Yeah.
Elijah Mitchell, if he's the back, like he's going to be up there. Like there's so many. Cam Akers will probably get ranked ahead of a Connor people and Dobbins.
And then what rookies are coming into the league that people are going to fall in
There's
love
not
with,
a lot. That's the one thing. The rookies next year aren't going to be as interesting. Some of the top prospects are like Breece Hall, and it just depends on the situation where they go.
I was going to say situation. Someone is going to fall into that role.
Yeah,
right?
It all depends on where they go. That's where it's going to change because there's not going to be the guy that you're like, oh yeah, this guy's amazing. Because this year Najee's the only one. Javante's coming on now a little bit.
Well, we said he was the only one, but I was pretty high on Dobbins, and I thought ETN could have been really
well. True,
good.
and I guess Elijah Mitchell's a rookie. I forget about him. Yeah. He's been solid, right?
So I mean, it is kind of unbelievable. But saying that, we already knew that Najee and especially him and Dobbins, we were already pretty much. But what about the one rookie from 2 years ago, I should say, that completely fell off? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Can he come back? Can he make his name more relevant? Because he went from being like a top 5 pick to like a top 10 to like now he might not even be in the top 20.
I think he can. I think he's a top 20 guy, but I'm not going to bank on him getting better than that. But I could see a scenario where they have to run a little more though too, the way the defenses are playing against them. So you could start to see them utilizing him more. I just don't think he's a special talent either. He's fine. And the offense isn't as explosive right now. So it's just not as great of a situation as we might have thought it was originally. But it's not going to be a bad pick. I don't think he's going to be a bad player to have next year. He's definitely fallen down. Like maybe you're going to get him like 22 or 23 even. Who knows? To me, interesting to see how it all shakes out. Because there's other guys. We haven't talked about David Montgomery and Josh Jacobs and Aaron, like these middle guys, but a lot of backs, actually, a lot of interesting backs.
Yeah. Last one I will ask you about because his name didn't even register when we're talking about this list. What kind of value does Cordero Patterson hold next year?
I know that's an interesting question.
I know it's too early to really tell what Atlanta is going to do, but they use him in the passing. They use him as a running back. I don't think he's going to have a home there, I think, in some capacity. And you have to think they have to rebuild, so they're not going to go out and get a primetime running back. I just don't see that. I mean, maybe they will, but I think it would be a terrible idea.
I just would worry that this was a 1 year flash in the pan because Cordero Patterson's played for a while.
Yeah.
And that's my worry is like, okay, yeah, one great year, but we've seen one great year from people before and you never do anything again. I mean, shoot, we saw one. I mean, there's plenty of names. You can mention 1,000 names that have had one awesome year and you never not heard from again, but they just never even came close to living up to that again. Patterson could be that. And because he has such a long history of just being a good gadget player, but not an everyday player, it just worries me. So I think I would hesitate on him. Man, I'm saying there's probably 30 guys that are going to be in the top 20 somehow. So I don't know how this is going to play out. Well, Leonard Fournette, we haven't said Leonard Fournette's name.
Yeah, well, and for me, he's as long as Tom Brady's there, he did really well this year, and he usurped, Rojo for sure, which wasn't a surprise to really anyone. Mm-hmm. But how long does that actually go? He feels like he's been around forever. I know he's still a relatively young guy, but he's one of those guys that, just takes a beating every time he runs the ball. It feels very difficult to rank him too high. Because
it does. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he's going to be
that.
one of those guys you can get as a value again. So,
yeah.
Oh, it's going to be interesting. Oh, man, I can't wait for next year for draft talk. I love it.
You're just looking at all these different guys, and I'm like, there is so much to wonder about. And, what if trades happen? What if people move around? Running backs, for the most part, it has not been good to sign any of them to big contracts. So who will take the big contract to go to a bad team? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? Stevenson, Damon Harris, how's that going to shake out? It's going to be really, really fun to watch. And ETN and James Robinson, do all of these players just completely cut into each other's value? That's what I really want to know. How many guys are the guy? It feels like it's less and less every year. And next year it might only be like 5.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I can't wait to start talking about it. That's my favorite part of the year.
Without a doubt.
So, all right, that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys next time.